Today we are venturing way away from the norm. We are in West River, South Dakota, entering Spearfish, one of the diamond dandies of the Black Hills. Today's adventures will take us through Spearfish, show you around a little bit. A little fire danger today. We'll see what Spearfish is all about. For a community that isn't major in any way, shape, or form, I think there's just about 14,000, and honestly, I haven't looked for a while. There's a lot going on here. This town's kind of got it figured out. I say that about other communities I've been to, but this is one of the nicer towns you may have never visited or even thought of visiting, but it's a beautiful mountain town, and we're getting closer to the downtown area, and then I'll stop and get out. Spearfish is also the home to Black Hills State University, which we will drive by at some point. Crow Peak Mountain sits to my right. You can't see it yet. But this town's got so many fun little eateries and bars. There's a lot that goes on in this small town. Like a lot of the Black Hills, it's a tourist area. There's not a lot of industry. Spearfish does have a logging industry. And of course the university, Monument Healthcare, which is owned by the Mayo Clinic, I believe. But some old buildings. When that lights up at night, it's kind of cool. Old neon lights. But this is some history. These buildings, as you see, that's a lot of that's the old Frontier Day buildings. It's a cloudy day in October, but it's not cold. It's about 62 degrees. A lot of bars, by the way. North Dakota and South Dakota are pretty similar there. They like their bars. And why not? There's an old Phillips station, old school, still clicking along. Spearfish is quite eclectic. You will see a lot of good old boys, a lot of ranchers, but you'll also see the couple wearing Birkenstocks. A lot of California transplants out here. Here's an example of that. Natural food store. Yeah, you've got young and old, conservative and liberal. They all make up this town. Something I want to show you. I don't know if I'm getting much. One of the oldest, if not the oldest opera house in South Dakota, still operating. We'll walk across the street there. But look at that architecture on that. Spearfish has done a really good job preserving the outside of their old Frontier buildings. Right here, I'll zoom up on that. (1900s). You know, this town's pretty self-sufficient. We just walked by a couple shoe stores. Look, a boutique. Oh my God, I never run into those, do I? No, never. And this property here, as it says, was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. But let's go across the street to this really This cool building, kitty corner. Facing north. There's some pretty awesome scenes. We come back towards the building we're going to. Another beautiful, the mountains aren't like in Utah or Colorado, but still a beautiful scene. And that's where we're going. That business there is called Norma's Kitchen, but look at the year this building was built. $1899. Oh, what? So this is another sign, number 15, John Woolsmuth Building. Built in 1899 by local businessman John Woolsmuth and L.W. Valentine. Eventually, Woolsmuth would take over sole ownership. The store sold harnesses, farming equipment, and construction supplies. Mr. Woolsmuth came to the hills in 1876, and in 1886 he was elected to the legislature and was a member when South Dakota became a state. He was instrumental in getting state funding for the normal school with a bond and amount of $25,000. That school would later be called Black Hills State University. Cool. And now it's an Italian cuisine. They don't open quite yet. But if you want to get to Norma's Kitchen, it's named one of the Black Hills best. You really can't beat. It's just so cool. It's a really cool building. Great looking building too. But you notice this food center across the street. Different looking architecture. Buildings were built differently than you see when we were in North Dakota and even parts of Minnesota. Much different. Different type of earth out here. Different type of rock. Henry's Books. Realtor. But this place is vibrant for a Saturday in October. It's pretty neat to see. Of course, I'm all about small business and commerce and economic development. It's hard to find a parking spot. Now this is like a public little fireplace, but if you look at the fish, you see a lot of that here. The spear through the fish, spearfish. So in the summer, between Memorial Day and Labor Day, they close off this part of the downtown and from about 6 to 9, and they put up a stage down there, and regional bands will come and play and throw a show, and there'll be beer vendors, and all these shops are open, and the downtown comes and participates, and it's a great time. Little vendors for kids. Spearfish is very family-friendly oriented. More than many other places that I've visited. So yeah, this will all be closed off. It's cool. It's a good time. There's the breakfast house. You don't see a lot of corporate America downtown. Very, very local, which you've seen in a lot of places that I've gone to. But here's the Opera House area. And they've got shows coming up. Tribute to Frank Sinatra. Lion in the Winter. They're closed on weekends, so we can't go in. There's the main doors. But yeah, it's either the oldest opera house or one of the oldest left in South Dakota. For a small conservative state, there's a lot of cultural opportunities here. And like we saw in Alexandria, lots of people get the clothes out. It's October. It's really nice out. It's in the 60s, supposed to get in the upper 60s today. It was in the 90s yesterday. But everyone gets their stuff out on Saturdays. Dance center. An antique shop. I tell my kids there is too, Bigfoot, right there. This is the health food building I showed a little while ago, and there's a story here. It's called the Plank Ashley Building, constructed 1908 as a furniture store. Rugs, paint, and Queensware china. Became a funeral home at one time. Selling furniture and caskets. That sounds riveting. Lots of history here. Now we're a block off to the east, I believe. And if you're in Spearfish, the public house, which is changing its name back to the original name, I think it's called Flanagan's. Nice little Irish pub, tiny little building, cool Irish pub. I spent some time in there in the past. I would say Spearfish is pretty well off. Again, I think you get a lot of medical people with Monument Healthcare that's owned by the Mayo. You have some tourism, but that doesn't really create a lot of salary dollars. You got some industry. It's something the Black Hills have tried to address in the past. Try to make it without getting run over. So you got a mix of frontier architectural style with modern. Pretty good sized bank. My parents moved out here and, well, they bought some property in the late 90s and now they're retired out here. So I've gotten to know the town fairly well. I don't know really any people. My wife and I and the kids have been out here a few times. I've been out here on my own quite a bit. But it gets quiet when you get off the downtown. It's your typical small town, South Dakota. But you still can't get away from that big block frontier architect style as we see here, kitty corner. That you see in so many frontier towns. I mean, it's built like that house isn't going anywhere. The downtown casino has got their smoker going. And I tell you what, that got some good hickory smoke. That smells good. You can see the smoke coming out of the stack. Property of Pit 14 Barbecue. Damn, does that smell good. Neat little place. So kitty corner here is Spearfish Brewing and Redwater Restaurant. Kind of a higher end little restaurant back on the main drag. Nice place though. Matter of fact, I hung out there on that patio last night, right there. Oh, here we are. beer here is pretty good. Spearfish Brewing gives some of their homegrown Black Hills State Ale profits back to the university. As you see, they got the window open today. They'll open that window when it's nice. Bikers out. You'll see bikes here all the time. There's the old city hall. (1938). Look at that. I mean, again, it's that old frontier architecture, stone, which I think is still cool to this day. Can't go wrong. You can see the rain. It's supposed to rain later, so we may have to hurry this video along today. Just driving through, or not kind of, we are driving through a neighborhood. And I guess it wouldn't be the Black Hills if you didn't see a log cabin of some kind right there. Businesses there, a lot of bike dealers and ATV dealers, and because there's a lot of outdoor activities you can do a lot longer than you can do on the eastern side of South Dakota. Some road construction here in the town. And now you're getting towards the peripheral or the edge where it's got some nice views. The golf course is just past this street light. Beautiful golf course. I've never golfed it, but you can see how pretty it is. So if we'd have went right that way, that would have led us to Spearfish Canyon and Rough Lock Falls and some really cool hiking places, some beautiful area. My windshield's got bugs on it. It is what it is. There's more of the golf course. It's October. These leaves are turning quick. Even for the third day I've been here, they're changing quick. Some nice home development there. You can see those clouds. It's supposed to rain, and I think it's a-coming. But if you stay on this road, and we'll drive it for a little bit before we turn around. If you stay on this road, you can head to a small highway they cut through the mountain to get to Deadwood. And since it's going to rain, I'm not going to go to Deadwood today. But you can go that way. There's hotels and a Walmart. Why not, right? There's some pretty cool places there. It's kind of hard to see, but it's got one of the best pizzerias in South Dakota called Dough Trader. If you ever get to Spearfish and you like pizza, for example, you want to go to Dough Trader. And now we're getting close to the campus to Black Hills State. They're sure proud of their university here. It's a good school. I think they specialize in education and I think business. Newer homes, one for sale. And yes, we are on Black Hills State University campus, and I have no idea where the hell I'm going from here. So stay tuned. The other side of campus, where I wanted to be in the first place. So here is the stadium for the football team, and I believe there is a football game tonight against their big rivals, the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. You see they got a little tailgating area set up. Bet they drink a few beers there too. That's what I'm told. Never had any, but that's what I'm told. So yeah, the big complex here too. The youth soccer complex, I believe, is in this area. We're on the northwest side of town. Now we're going to head to an iconic business. I'm going to turn around after this next shot and show you some of the housing diversity that exists here. We are officially not in Spearfish. We are officially in the county. I'm going to take you to the iconic Crow Peak Brewing. It's 11:35 a.m. local time. I will not be drinking beer at 11:35 local time. I could be. There's people there. But this is the iconic Crow Peak Brewing. Been around, I don't know how long it's been around, but if you like craft beer, that's the place. So cool. I'm not going to go inside because they just opened, but I want to show you something else before we call it a day here. Sometimes people freak out when you take pictures of or video of their houses, but some really nice neighborhoods, and I'm going to show you something that kind of explains my Birkenstock, California theory. There's some homes that you just don't see that in South Dakota, like right there. You just don't. That's got more of a West Coast flair, because then you got the more modern homes you'd see built, but these are very nice neighborhoods, and that's someone's home back there. But yeah, you see that West Coast California feel, and in some of these homes, a lot of Californians have moved here. I'm not here to tell you that's good, bad, or indifferent, but now you're getting into the traditional, very traditional local neighborhoods in terms of the houses, the architectural style, etc., etc. Some very nice neighborhoods in Spearfish, South Dakota. If you have a family, or this would be a great place to live. I mean, of all the places I've taken you to, this has got to be at the top of the list. And with that, we're going to call it a day at this stoplight here on Evans Lane. Thank you so much for coming. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.